Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Niger once again, and welcome back to System Shock Radio. So, I have got quite a few topics for today, but of course, if this is your first episode of System Shock Radio, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. But yeah, I got quite a few topics, and considering the amount of topics plus the fact that I do have somewhere to be in a little bit, I'm going to try to go through these as quickly as possible. Try not to rush through them too much, obviously, and explain as much when it comes to that, or at least my feelings when it comes to it, but I will have to kind of go. So without further ado, at least go through these relatively quickly so that I'm not here for too long and you guys aren't here for too long. But nevertheless, but also, do let me know, do you prefer longer or shorter episodes of System Shock Radio? But nevertheless, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is that Peter Griffin has been added to Fortnite. So, I guess he's officially out now. Peter Griffin, of course, from Family Guy. I added it to Fortnite not too long ago, and judging from how he looks there, it looks like they kind of tried to go the handsome Peter route. There was the one episode where Peter got a bunch of plastic surgery and became handsome and stuff, but he still has on his glasses. Which is kind of an interesting look. I'm surprised they didn't go for just a traditional Peter Griffin look, although I imagine it probably would have been somewhat difficult to translate it over to the Fortnite art and stuff. But having like handsome Peter or as like an alternate skin would have been kind of funny. But I imagine with Peter Griffin here, the rest of the Family Guy members will be on their way. Maybe obviously the rest of the Griffin family. Of course, Quagmire, Joe Swanson, and maybe Bonnie. Cleveland, and of course, Hershey can have Peter or without the giant chicken, and then seeing them brawl all around. And it would be kind of funny if they added a feature where if a player playing as Peter and a player playing as the giant chicken encounter each other, they could have the option to just throw down their weapons and brawl the way Peter and the giant chicken do. But otherwise, it's Fortnite. Admittedly, something I'm not big into. I used to play it way back when, but I kind of, and it's not really for me. But I know it's got a lot of traction as of late, especially with them kind of going back to their roots recently. But also adding stuff like this, and then I think the Lego characters they added as well. So yeah, some pretty big developments from Fortnite there. But the next thing we're going to talk about is that The Boys season 4 trailer is out. The Boys his show I've heard quite a bit about, and of course Homelander being in Mortal Kombat at 1 is it is pretty cool, obviously, but the Boys, the show I definitely do want to check out, and now I definitely can. So the show's coming out in 2024. Or the only thing is, like, it takes me a while to get the shows, but you know what? I might have to catch up on The Boys before the next season drops, and also My Hero Academia season 7 drops next year as well. So next year's gonna be a pretty interesting year, especially if you're a nerd like me. But the next thing we're going to talk about is that we finally got a GTA 6 trailer, and reception to it is somewhat mixed. The fact that it's not coming out till 2025 was granted, a lot of people call it, they're like, it's probably not going to come out for a while, and yeah, 2025, but got a protagonist, got a lead female protagonist this time around, which is pretty cool. Although someone said you should be able to like make your own protagonist and have them go through the game, and the only thing with that, and I do kind of agree to an extent, but the only thing with that is that when it comes to like creating your own character and having them go through the story, oftentimes, not every time obviously, but oftentimes it does tend to be kind of generic. But nevertheless, we got our protagonist there, and looks like it's going to take place around Florida, and I don't know if it's just a rumor, but apparently you're going to be able to explore the entire Florida map, which is pretty huge. Will I cop GTA 6? I'm not sure. Never really been big into GTA, at least me personally. I think because I didn't really play it growing up because my parents were kind of strict, but a lot of people are interested when it comes to GTA 6 trailer. I thought about checking it out, but I decided I'll probably check it out at some point, but for now I haven't. But some stuff I'm saying it's stereotypes. Some people saying it is accurate to the Floridians because the Floridians are an interesting bunch, which I shouldn't talk too much because I got a couple friends who live down in Florida. But if you guys are watching this, sorry. But yeah, so what do you guys think of the GTA 6 trailer? Let me know. The next thing we got to talk about is the Game Awards. So quite a bit happened, and for starters, there were some announcements of some things, and I'm gonna pull up like the full list of winners here. Here, so but some announcements that happened for it. One of them being a Blade video game from Marvel, which I guess is to tie into the Blade movie that's supposed to be coming out any day now. But that was announced. That was as well as some DLC. The game of the year actually went to Baldur's Gate 3, which I heard was a really good game. Best game direction went to Alan Wake 2, and Alan Wake 2 also won for best narrative. I heard that game was really good. Best art direction also went to Alan Wake 2. Best score/music went to Final Fantasy 16. Best audio design went to Hi-Fi Rush. Best performance went to Neil Newborn for Baldur's Gate 3. Games for Impact went to Tashia. I'm probably mispronouncing that. Best ongoing game went to Cyberpunk 2077. Best indie game went to Sea of Stars. Best debut indie game went to Cocoon. Best mobile game went to Honkai Star Rail. Oh, and if I mispronounce any of these games' names, I do apologize. Best community support went to Baldur's Gate 3. Best VR game/AR game went to Resident Evil Village. And innovation and accessibility went to Forza Motorsport. Best action game went to Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. The best action adventure game went to Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Best RPG went to Baldur's Gate 3. Best fighting game went to Street Fighter 6. Best family game went to Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Best sports racing game went to Forza Motorsport. And best sim strategy game went to Pikmin 4. Best multiplayer game went to Baldur's Gate 3. Content creator of the year went to Iron Mouse. Best esports athlete went to Lee Faker Song Hyok, and I might be mispronouncing that. Best esports coach went to Christine Potter Chi. Best esports event went to the 2023 League of Legends World Championship. The best esports game went to Valorant. The best esports team went to JD Gaming. Most anticipated game went to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Best adaptation went to The Last of Us. As player's voice went to Baldur's Gate 3. And I think that's about it. So, a few things there. For starters, Baldur's Gate 3 won quite a bit, which I heard it was a really good game. Super Mario Bros. Wonder even won something, which is good. The Last of Us winning Best Adaptation, that's understandable. I heard that show was really good, and I definitely do want to check it out, especially having played The Last of Us. What a lot of people were surprised at, though, is that Spider-Man 2 went away completely empty-handed. Not winning any awards. Some people sparked debate on it. Some people are saying it's because it's really not that good. Some people are kind of trying to downplay it. Some people are saying that they're really surprised and kind of upset. But me personally, I can't comment on it because I haven't played Spider-Man 2 yet. But what was interesting that it didn't win anything. Although I do have to check when the original Spider-Man and for PS4 also won any awards. I think it won for best score, if I'm not mistaken. Some very interesting choices. So congrats to all the winners. There's some concerns with how the award show was. For starters, there was some speeches. Apparently, I didn't watch the award show. This is kind of like secondhand knowledge. But some people say like a lot of the speeches got cut off, which does kind of suck, unless they're like really going over time. Just let them go, But also. There's the comment made by Christopher Judge. It's the voice of Kratos from the God of War series. And really, it's apparently more of like a joke / jab. But the people in Activision found it not too funny, saying that his speech was longer than the campaign for Modern Warfare 3. Now, I did hear the campaign for Modern Warfare 3 wasn't that great, which does kind of suck because the campaigns for Modern Warfare 1 and 2, like the new ones, not the OG ones, but the campaigns for the new ones were actually not bad. And the first one was pretty solid. The second one was also solid for the most part. Or how did they fall off? myself. I'd have to find out by playing the game, but the developers took some umbrage to that. And some people saying it's justified, some people, well, not as much so. Let me know what you guys think. But yeah, but the Game Awards, I'll probably check it out next year. Next up though is that Bray Wyatt is apparently being considered for the 2024 Hall of Fame, which if he does go in next year, I think it will be well earned. Of course, Bray Wyatt, it unfortunately passed away earlier this year and made an incredible impact on a lot of people. And I definitely would love for him to go into the Hall of Fame. There's some other names being considered, such as Ken Shamrock, which we kind of did a discussion video on the other day, so if you haven't already, go check that out, as well as Lex Luger, because of how much content and they're posting about him, and the fact that Lex Luger said when he accepts his Hall of Fame or he wants to be able to walk up to it. Of course, Lex Luger, I think, I don't know if he's like fully paralyzed or even partially paralyzed, but I do know that he's had some spinal issues, if I'm not mistaken. But but Bray Wyatt being considered, I think, would also be really cool. And sadly, the other day would have been him and JoJo's wedding, as he posted, which, man, is even more heartbreaking that he's no longer with us and gone so soon, really. But I imagine they'll probably have Eric Rowan or Braun Strowman, because he is still contracted with WWE, or maybe both of them to accept the award on his behalf, as well as JoJo and perhaps Bo Dallas as well. But for him to go in would be a amazing honor. Next up is going to be that Jey Uso is no longer allowed to use the Yeet. Which is funny because he did post something about it to his story, but Jey Uso had been using like Yeet as kind of his catchphrase for a little bit now. I forget exactly how long he'd been using it for, or to the point where he had it on a t-shirt, but he's kind of it was kind of noted on Raw that they were blurring it out and he wasn't allowed to say Yeet anymore. The crowd still chanted it because the crowd didn't care, but he wasn't allowed to use it. Apparently it's because WWE could not secure the copyright to it, because an indie wrestler already owns the copyright to it. Now, granted, the indie wrestler is obviously he put down the copyright, so he's allowed to use. I forget his name, but the indie wrestler is allowed to use it. He put the copyright in, and so he's allowed to use it. That's fair game. But at the same time, that's probably a bigger heel turn than Hogan at Bash of the Beach '96. it's like taking away our Yeet from us. But so I imagine they'll probably have him come up with a new catchphrase. And as his brother Jimmy said, no Yeet. But next up is that we have some predictions for NXT Deadline. So, that is tonight. I'm going to be watching that. And sadly, I missed out on it last year, but I'll be able to see it this year to see fully. We'll get into it, because as there is a number of matches. For starters, on the pre-show, we have Axiom versus Nathan Fraser. I thought they did this match on NXT, but I guess they were saving it for Deadline, and so they're going to battle in the pre-show. I imagine they'll probably go to... That one could go either way. Admittedly, I haven't been super duper following that rivalry, but I know they faced off a couple times, so I think it might probably go to... I'll probably guess Axiom. Although Nathan Fraser could use the win after being absolutely pummeled by Dragunov. Then the men's Iron Survivor Challenge, and this is also just how the matches are listed on the wiki. Doesn't mean that those are the exact order or that they'll happen on the card. Next up is the men's Iron Survivor Challenge to determine the number one contender for the NXT Championship, as Hijack, Trick Williams, whoop that Trick, Josh Briggs, Braun Breaker, and Tyler Bate will go at it. This would be a huge win for Trick Williams. Josh Briggs, I don't think it's going to go to. He's mostly in like a tag team with Brooks Jensen. Dijak, this could go to, although more enhancement. Braun really doesn't need it. He held the NXT Championship for a while. And Tyler Bate, he might be being called up to the main roster soon. It'd be nice for Tyler Bate to have one more NXT Championship. And this time like a proper NXT Championship. He was NXT UK Champion, the inaugural NXT UK Champion, but him winning like the main NXT Championship would be pretty cool. But otherwise, I think I'm going to go with Trick Williams on this one. Then next up, the women's Iron Survivor Challenge. And because I missed Deadline last year, these will be my first experience with the Iron Survivor Challenge, so obviously I'll talk about that when I review it. This is the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge for to have the number one contendership for the NXT Women's Championship. Tiffany Stratton will be battling Lash Legend, Blair Davenport, Kalani Jordan, and Fallon Henley. Honestly, Lash Legend could deserve it alone for how she body slammed Otis on Wednesday. But as for who could win this one could go any of the 5 ways. Of course, Tiffany Stratton, former NXT Women's Champion, Lash Legend, and especially with her, with the metaphor, I've been kind of getting the push. Blair Davenport has been there for a little bit. Kalani Jordan seems like, and it looks like they are very high on her, or that she might be getting a push at some points. And then Fallon Henley has kind of been gaining some traction as well. Well, as for who I think wins this, I'm tempted to maybe say Tiffany, just so she gets her other shot at the NXT Women's Championship, although she doesn't really need it. So I might go with, I think I'll stick with Tiffany Stratton. But then next up for the NXT Championship, Ilya Dragunov, the Tsar, will battle Baron Corbin, and so this stems from. It stems from the previous event, which I believe was it No Mercy, but he I gotta check I gotta check what it was, but yeah. So Corbin attacked Dragunov. No. Oh, I'm tripping. This stems from Halloween Havoc, the TV special. I watched the match between him and Mello and this stuff following it, because that was Trick Williams' return. Slow, but yeah, so this stems from that, and now they've been feuding, and I don't think Corbin's winning it here, but this will probably still be a very interesting match. So I think Dragunov will win it here. I think he's going to hold on to it for a little bit longer, and yeah, but this will still be interesting. But then next up for the North American Championship, Dirty Dom will be battling Dragon Lee. So originally it was supposed to be Wesley, but unfortunately Wesley had a very serious back injury, one that will require surgery, meaning he'll be out for 8 months to about a year. So it's a pretty serious back issue, to the point where I saw the highlights and he walked out with a cane, so it's really, really bad. At which wishing a speedy recovery to Wesley, and unfortunate that he won't be in the match, and just wishing him all the best and stuff like that. But so Dragon Lee's in his place. Rey Mysterio announced it, and Rey Mysterio is going to be in the corner of Dragon Lee. So it looks like now Dragon Lee is kind of on the main roster, but it looks like, and this might be because of Wesley's injury, that there's a chance he might be heading back down to NXT, at least for the time being, to win the North American Championship. If Dirty Dom held it for a bit, lost to Trick Williams for a bit, then won it back. So I think this one, for some reason, I think I might go with Dragon Lee on this one. I think they'll probably pop it off of Dirty Dom here, but it'll still be a very impressive match. Not the first time these two have faced off, is Dirty Dom and Dragon Lee. In fact, I believe it was No Mercy where they faced off. But then next up, in a steel cage match, Roxanne Perez will be battling Kiana James. These two have been kind of going at it for a bit, and now it's resulted in a steel cage match. I think this will probably go to Roxanne and to give the bad guy their comeuppance, even though I've said that before and it didn't happen. But looks like Roxy. I think I'll predict Roxy taking the win in here. But steel cage match, sign me up. Unless it's a bad one, because somehow the WWE has managed to screw up a steel cage match before. Or I don't know how, but they did. Well, I mean, I know how, but But then next up, last but not least, he's Carmelo Hayes. He battles Lexis King. So Lexis King attacked Trick Williams, and so Carmelo Hayes is getting some justice for Trick. He's gonna whoop that Trick. All right, I promise that's the last. I promise that's the last time I'm going to make that joke in these predictions. But I think this will probably go to... This one could go either way. I'm tempted to go with Carmelo, but we'll see if this does lead to the revelation that Hayes hired King and cost Williams. Because as a lot of people noted, especially I think it was this previous one day on NXT, they showed security camera footage showing Carmelo kind of... walking down, glancing at his phone like he's looking at something, and then and then walking off. But so these two have been going at it after Lex King essentially outed himself, and they show the security camera footage. So, oh, so who will pick up the win here? I think I might go with Hayes, like I said, or it could be King, and then but I imagine this will probably lead into what will happen with Trick Williams in the NXT Championship Iron Survivor Challenge. And so yeah, those are predictions. For match of the night, I'm probably probably go with either the Iron Survivor Challenge matches, hopefully, or the NXT Championship. I heard the Iron Survivor Challenges from last year were really good as well. So the Iron Survivor Challenges, and then the NXT Championship match, and maybe the North American Championship match for match of the night. Those are my elects. But we'll see when we get to the show later on tonight. And then the last thing I want to talk about is doing the right thing. Now, admittedly, this is kind of a part two, kind of a follow-up. Last week we talked about courage, but I forgot, and I was kicking myself because I forgot one of the biggest aspects of courage is also being able to do the right thing. And even when it seems like everyone is against you, even when it seems like your back's against the wall and nobody's going to have your back, being able to stand up for what's right, being able to go against the grain, and when everything else is wrong, standing up for what's right, it does take quite a bit of courage. And it's not always easy because you fear repercussions, you fear what's going to happen, and if you retaliate. But sometimes it's necessary because the truth has to come out, and because things have to be set right. So having the courage and the ability to do the right thing is so important. And although some people may be lost, because surprisingly, even when you do right, some people aren't too happy about it because they were the ones that are in the wrong. But they try to convince you it's your fault, but that's just how it goes. But standing up for what's right, standing up for what you believe in, and doing the right thing is another major aspect of courage. Being able to say, hey, you know what? Even if it costs me things, I'm going to do what's right. I'm going to set things straight. It definitely is important, and it definitely takes a lot of courage and heart to be able to stand up and do the right thing. And so, if a situation ever happens like that, you may lose people, but you know what? You are doing the right thing. But nevertheless, that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts on anything I talked about in this episode. I know that thankfully I kind of condensed it, but I know I did talk about quite a bit. So let me know in the comments your thoughts. But thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace.